Picture this. You're holding an Oscar, 9 months pregnant, glowing under Hollywood's brightest lights while millions watch. Most would call that the pinnacle of success, but for Catherine Zeta-Jones, that golden moment was just the beginning of her most devastating battle. The woman who danced her way into our hearts in Chicago and captivated us in the Mask of Zorro was hiding a secret that would nearly destroy everything she'd built. Today, at 55, we finally understand what really happened to the star who seemed to have it all. The mark that changed everything. Catherine's story begins with a fight for survival that most people never knew about. Born September 25, 1969, in Swansea, Wales, to working-class parents, her father David, a candy factory worker, her mother Patricia, a seamstress, Catherine faced death before she could even walk. A viral infection attacked her respiratory system so severely that doctors were forced into emergency action. They performed a tracheostomy on the infant, cutting a hole in her throat to keep her alive. That surgical scar on her neck became more than just a mark. It became a symbol of something that would define her entire life, the ability to survive what should have broken her. As she grew older, the scar became a source of deep insecurity. In her early auditions, casting directors would notice it immediately. Some suggested she get it removed. Others said it made her look damaged. But Catherine refused to erase the evidence of her first victory over death. Little did she know that this decision would become a metaphor for her entire career, embracing the scars instead of hiding them. When luck struck gold, the trajectory of Catherine's life changed dramatically when her parents struck gold at their local bingo hall. The £100,000 jackpot might not sound astronomical today, but in the 1970s, it was life-changing money for a working-class Welsh family. Suddenly, the girl who had been born fighting for breath had opportunities that seemed impossible before. Her mother, Patricia, made a decision that would echo through Hollywood history. She enrolled Catherine in dance classes at the Hazel Johnson School of Dance. This wasn't just about learning to move, it was about learning to command attention, to own space, to make people look at you and forget everything else. By age 4, Catherine was performing with her local church group. By 11, she had landed the lead role in a production of Annie. The little girl with the scar was becoming the girl who could make people believe in magic. But here's what most people don't realize. Those early performances weren't just about talent. They were about survival. Catherine had learned something that many actors never master: how to use vulnerability as strength. Every time she stepped on stage, she was proving that the girl who almost died could not only live but could make others feel more alive too. The gamble that terrified everyone. At 15, Catherine made a decision that horrified her teachers, worried her parents, and set tongues wagging throughout Swansea. She dropped out of school to pursue acting full-time. This wasn't a typical teenage rebellion. This was a calculated risk that most people thought was career suicide. Her first major film role came in 1990 with 1001 Nights, and it was a spectacular failure. The movie sold barely 250,000 tickets in France, ranking 78th at the box office that year. Critics were brutal. The industry whispered that she was just another pretty face without the depth for serious acting. For someone who had bet everything on her talent, this was devastating. But Catherine had learned something from that early brush with death. When everyone expects you to give up, that's when you fight hardest. She returned to British television with The Darling Buds of May, and suddenly the girl they said couldn't act became Britain's sweetheart. The show was a phenomenon, attracting millions of viewers weekly. Catherine wasn't just acting. She was creating a persona that would carry her across the Atlantic. Hollywood's calculated discovery. When Catherine moved to Hollywood in the mid-1990s, she faced a brutal reality. British TV actresses were often dismissed as too proper or not cinematic enough for American audiences. She took forgettable roles in films like Splitting Heirs and The Phantom. Watching her Hollywood dreams seemed to evaporate with each mediocre project. Then Steven Spielberg entered her story. Whether he noticed her in The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles or the 1996 miniseries Titanic, the result was the same. He saw something others had missed. But here's the part that never gets told. Spielberg didn't just cast her. He strategically positioned her for success by introducing her to director Martin Campbell for The Mask of Zorro. The casting process was grueling. Catherine competed against Penelope Cruz, Salma Hayek, and even a young Shakira who was testing her acting abilities. But Catherine brought something none of the others had: a combination of classical beauty and raw determination forged by years of fighting for every opportunity. Zoros' double-edged victory. The Mask of Zorro became Catherine's breakthrough, grossing $250 million worldwide against a $95 million budget. But success came with a price she hadn't anticipated. Suddenly, she wasn't just an actress, she was a sex symbol, a fashion icon, and a benchmark for leading lady perfection. Every role would be compared to Elena Montero. Every appearance would be scrutinized for signs that she was living up to the impossibly high standards she'd set. The laser scene in Entrapment with Sean Connery became iconic, but it also became a prison. For years afterward, casting directors would ask if she could do that entrapment thing again. The very success that had made her a star was limiting her range as an artist. Catherine found herself caught between being grateful for the opportunities and frustrated by the typecasting. Her Oscar win for Chicago in 2003 should have freed her from these constraints. And in many ways it did. She had proven she could sing, dance, and act with equal skill. But winning the Oscar while visibly pregnant added another layer to her public persona. She wasn't just a star, she was the epitome of the woman who had it all: career, husband, baby, and golden statue. Love's dangerous territory. The relationship with Michael Douglas began with what might be the most forward pickup line in Hollywood history. At a dinner in Deauville, France, after walking past her in a hotel lobby without recognizing her, Michael told Catherine, "I'm going to be the father of your children." Most women would have walked away. Catherine did, temporarily, but what the tabloids never understood was that their relationship wasn't about the 25-year age gap or Michael's wealth and fame. It was about two people who had both learned to survive in an industry that chews up vulnerability and spits out insecurity. Michael had been through a devastating divorce that cost him $45 million. Catherine had watched her career nearly implode before it began. They understood each other's wariness. Their prenuptial agreement included a clause that would pay Catherine $1 to $3 million for each year of marriage if Michael was unfaithful. Critics called it mercenary, but Catherine saw it as practical. She had watched too many women lose everything because they trusted love to protect them from legal reality. This wasn't about money, it was about respect and security in an industry where both are rare commodities. The perfect storm nobody saw coming. By 2003, Catherine appeared to have achieved the impossible: a successful career, a stable marriage, 2 healthy children, and critical acclaim. But behind the glossy magazine covers, cracks were forming that no amount of success could repair. After giving birth to her daughter Karis, Catherine began experiencing severe mood swings that went far beyond typical postpartum depression. The highs were euphoric. She felt capable of anything. The lows were devastating. She would cry for hours without understanding why. Eventually, she was diagnosed with bipolar II disorder, but she chose to keep this private, afraid it would affect her career and public image. The pressure to maintain the facade of perfection became overwhelming when Michael was diagnosed with stage 4 throat cancer in 2010. Catherine put her career completely on hold to care for him, but watching the strong, vibrant man she loved waste away under chemotherapy broke something inside her. She was holding her family together through sheer willpower, while her own mental health deteriorated. The 2013 breaking point. When Michael beat cancer in 2011, everyone expected the family to celebrate and move forward. Instead, Catherine collapsed. The stress of years of caregiving combined with her untreated bipolar disorder led to a psychiatric hospitalization. She was finally getting the help she needed, but the media speculation was brutal. Then Michael made a public statement that changed everything. In discussing his cancer, he suggested it had been caused by HPV contracted through oral sex. The comment created a media firestorm that engulfed Catherine, who found herself the subject of vicious rumors and speculation about their marriage and her role in his illness. The combination of her mental health struggles, the media scrutiny, and the feeling that her privacy had been violated led to their separation in August 2013. For 8 months, the couple lived apart while tabloids speculated about affairs, addiction, and irreparable damage to their relationship. The comeback nobody expected. What happened next surprised everyone, including Catherine herself. Instead of a bitter divorce, the couple quietly reconciled in 2014. They had learned something that many Hollywood couples never grasp: that love isn't about avoiding problems, It's about deciding to face them together. Catherine's approach to her career also changed dramatically. Instead of chasing the next big role or trying to recapture past glory, she became selective. She turned down projects that didn't interest her and focused on building a business empire with her Casa Zeta-Jones brand, offering everything from home decor to beauty products. Her return to prominence came with Netflix's Wednesday in 2022, where she played Morticia Addams. The casting was perfect. Catherine brought a classical Hollywood glamour to the role while adding layers of complexity that made Morticia feel fresh and contemporary. The show became a global phenomenon, introducing Catherine to a new generation, while reminding older fans why they fell in love with her in the first place. The 55-year-old reality. Today, Catherine Zeta-Jones has a net worth estimated at $150 million. But more importantly, she has something that eluded her for decades: peace with herself. She no longer feels the need to prove anything to anyone or maintain an image that doesn't reflect her reality. She's spoken openly about her bipolar disorder, helping to reduce stigma around mental health. She's selective about her projects, choosing roles that interest her rather than ones that will maintain her status. She and Michael, now in their 25th year of marriage, have weathered storms that would have destroyed most Hollywood couples. The scar on her neck, the one that caused her so much insecurity in her early years, is still there. She's never had it surgically removed, and now she never will. It's become a symbol of survival, a reminder that the things that make us different often become the things that make us strong. The truth behind the facade. The real truth about Catherine Zeta-Jones at 55 isn't heartbreaking, it's inspiring. She's a woman who learned that perfection is a prison and that authenticity is the only real freedom. She survived childhood illness, Hollywood rejection, mental health struggles, marriage difficulties, and the crushing pressure of living under constant scrutiny. She chose to step back from the relentless pace of Hollywood, not because she was broken, but because she was finally whole. She realized that success isn't about how bright you shine for others. It's about how comfortable you are with your own light. Catherine Zeta-Jones at 55 is not a cautionary tale about fame's cost. She's proof that it's possible to navigate Hollywood's treacherous waters and emerge stronger, wiser, and more authentic than when you started. The woman who once won an Oscar while pregnant has discovered something even more valuable: the ability to be completely, unapologetically herself. And perhaps that's the most surprising plot twist of all.